welcome to BPW Ontario Speaker Series. This is our first speaker series in 2025. I'm still getting used to saying 2025. My name is Ann Harvey, and I'm the Vice President of BPW Ontario. And I welcome everyone. And there's our agenda, pretty straightforward. So, Jocelyn, I'll let you take this away.
Thank you. In the spirit of truth and reconciliation, BPW Ontario members acknowledge that we gather on traditional lands of the Haudenosaunee, the Ojibwe Chippewa, Anishinaabeg, Anishinaabe, Attawandaron, Wendat, Huron-Wendat, Mississaugas of the New Credit, Atikameksheng, Anishinaabe, Métis, and Inuit peoples. We are grateful for the opportunity to work with Indigenous peoples who continue to live in these lands to create a safer and more abundant future for all women and girls.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So BPW Ontario welcomes all people who identify as women, regardless of race, religion, age, nationality, citizenship, geographic location, ability, marital status, socioeconomic status, education, sexual orientation, or gender identity, and is committed to providing an inclusive, welcoming, and empowering environment for all members. And Nancy, do you want to read the collect?
Certainly. May we see beyond pettiness, fault-finding, and all forms of prejudice. Let us meet each other face to face with honesty, patience, and generosity of spirit. May we go forward unafraid, confidently putting into action plans that are carefully considered and adequately debated. May we depart with the knowledge that through BPW and our collective energies, we can impact upon the greater good more than can be realized alone. And may we have the strength to abide by our convictions, the reward of sharing our burden, and the joy of success in all that we do.
Thank you, Nancy. All right, I'm so excited to introduce Stacy Mueller. Stacy is a certified life coach practitioner with a rich background in nursing and education. Stacy offers an insightful session focused on practical strategies to enhance your business acumen and drive success. A unique opportunity for businesses and professional women to continue the momentum of growing and gaining valuable insights. Would you like to find balance in your home, work, relationships, and business? Stacy brings her life experience through the power of story and shares what she calls the caring model. Stacy, take it away.
Well, let's see about sharing the screen here.
Yeah.
All right, let's just see if I've got that right. All right. Can everybody see that okay then?
Yeah.
I know there's another way of, I think if I press play, it'll be like the big screen, but I think I got it here. Okay, so. Well, thank you so much. When I was listening, and it's talked about that joy of, the joy and how you have joy for one another and in your successes and in the journey along those successes. So that's what I really appreciate the last few times now that I've been around the business professional women. I've noticed just that there's just something that, like, I think when I met Nancy and I met Jocelyn too, I don't know, my face hurt when I walked away from it because I was laughing so I thought, why am I laughing? I thought they're going to think what? But they didn't think anything negative of me. In fact, they were like, we just want you to share your journey. I thought they really genuinely care. So I just wanted to make sure I put that out at the front because, it isn't always that you've always come across people that care and are genuine about that. So I just want to say thank you for that. And I hope that whoever watches this as well, that you would find comfort and just a genuine, authentic sort of thing I'm trying to say about women when it comes to BPW, because I'm experiencing that myself here. So thank you so much for that. So I thought I would start out the way I did when I would be teaching as well. And something that my grandmother always taught me, right? She'd say, you know what? Life is really, there's so much going on and it's like so tough. And what would grandma say? You should put the kettle on and have a cup of tea, right? So I would do that with my students. And then one day I came on and they all must have got together and said they're going to get their mugs of coffee and pretend to pour tea and coffee when they were, when I was teaching online. And so we laughed. So I realized that not everybody learns just by book value. People learn by examples. And so I brought a lot of little examples along the way here to do what? To share about growing forward, a process of caring. So a little bit about my background. When I show this picture, I did leave home at a very young age, and I moved to a big city, but I was used to living in the country. So in the city, there were lots of different things pulling my attention, but I knew I had to finish school. So I finished high school, and there wasn't a class for math because it was all filled when I was trying to apply, and I was so young. So they put me in a technical math, and that math probably helped me in my life somewhere along the line because we learned about real estate, we learned about this, we learned about that, just things that I would never think. And math, how many is that your favorite subject, math? When I ask people, what's your favorite subject? They go, gym or art or something like that. It's certainly not math. But I did find a way through that time in my life. And here I end up back in the country with my husband and my family. So I want to talk about a process to care. And I did get the actual outline from a book called The Influence Factor. I've taken this course several times. It's a leadership course. And yes, Dr. Derek Mueller wrote The Influence Factor. And he's my husband. But hey, I would have gone to see him even if I didn't marry him. Okay, I'm just saying. Okay, just saying. So let's just get that out of the way here. Derek, thanks. No. So the outline of it, it showed me just the plan that I was going through as well. It talks about 8 processes. And so I put the process of a caring model in this: picturing, planning, plowing, planting, protect, prune, pollinate, propagate. What does that sound like? Gardening. It's just right up my alley for gardening, but it's also for leadership, for women in business, for people that are in business, or if you're just starting out. Let's start with the first word, which was picture. So when you picture something, you envision your ideal future by envisioning what you want to achieve. I'm going to use nursing because I went to school, back to school when I was 45 to become a nurse. Was it easy? Absolutely, it was not easy. So why I chose that to talk about tonight was because maybe you're at a position where you want to change your career. Maybe you're at a position where you finished your career, but you want to take on something new. You want to learn something new, like a new skill. Maybe you want to learn about sketching or doing some art or just journaling itself. Maybe you want to um, um, just do something different in your life that you haven't done before. And so this is where we're picturing it. So I was picturing that I wanted to become a nurse. And that's as far as it got, because I knew that in that it took a couple of years. You had to apply. There would be studying involved. I have 4 children, 4 boys, and I'm a single mother at the time. Everything was what? Against that picture. And yet I had to come to a place for myself to envision that. And one of the things that I wrote down was the reflection question of, what are some key ingredients to your ideal future? Some things that you're looking forward to. Maybe there's some things in your life that you're like, you know what, I want to make room for, say, to see my children more or go visit them or my grandchildren. Or maybe I want to do something different in business. I want to add an element to my business. Maybe I want to learn, like I said, a new skill. Maybe I have to take a course, and that's going to be something different because we have to sit down and figure out how I'm going to time manage myself now by adding a course to all of this. Maybe it's doing everything else but that. Maybe it's resting. Maybe it's taking time to just go for a walk or sit and read a book. Maybe it's learning a new skill. Whatever it is, we take time to picture ourselves. We take time to picture, could I do that? So I had to take time to think. I cared about people, but I knew nothing about medication. I knew nothing about math. I knew imperial math, but we had to have metric math. So there was a lot of things that I could have been telling myself. So I had to make sure that I told myself there's no reason why I can't at least apply and try. And so I had to envision my ideal future by envisioning what I wanted to achieve. So that was one of the things I wrote down. And also, what kind of person did I want to become? It wasn't that I was forgetting everything I was, but then I was becoming a professional person in community where I was working at a place. I was accountable. I was accountable for my patients. I was going to be working at a hospital. There was a lot of what ifs. It can apply to anything in our lives. And so that was one of the areas that I had to look at, was picturing that part. So let's move on to plan. So I'm just going to give sort of a circle here of how the growing process happens. When I look at plan, I have to sit down and figure out how I'm going to apply to go to school for the first time, not return, go to school, college for the first time, and compete against others that are maybe just out of school. Or in fact, my letter said something like, I think 1,870 people were ahead of me. So the odds weren't very good. But I had to say, I'm not going to let that stop me either. Especially since I got the number for the college and I could call them every day and say, did I get in for a seating? But anyways, what I did was, it was 1,800 people plus, and I thought, what do I need to do? So I took this course of how to be online, how to get online, how to use the dashboard, how to just find my way around the computer. It hasn't helped today, but it helped back then anyways. But then I had to look at all of the grades and marks I had way back in high school. And so that was the plan, was identifying the steps necessary to embark on this journey that I had ahead of me. And so I had to plan. And when I applied, they asked me what was my mark in biology. And I was like, oh, it's okay. Why? Why are you asking that now? But they want to know because it has to be in the 90s. Who gets marks in the 90s, right? Remember the kids at school that would say, yeah, I only got 94%. I'm thinking, oh, it wasn't even close to that, but I had to get my mark into the 90s. Now, what would that require, right? There was a plan. I had to make a little card, put it on my table, like the dining room table, and say to the boys, when you see mama's card on there and it's got a nice pink heart and it says, just a minute, because mama's studying, like, and I would try to do it times that were on and off with the boys so that I could be there for them. See, what really matters is you and your family, and then your career. So I just kind of had to put everything on the table there just to say that your family matters, people around you matter, and then your career. So I had to make sure I knew that that was in place, and it was. I really love my children. So this was a lot for me. 45, single mother, 4 boys, going to school, college for the first time. So identify the steps necessary to embark on your journey ahead. Plow. When you think of farming and you think of just, has anybody used one of those rototillers, to the ground? What is that doing? That is like, it's getting that ground, like just from being so hard to getting soft again. Why? Because you want to get ready to do what? To plant. So there's a process. There's a process in our lives as well. So there's picture, plan, plow, laying the groundwork, preparing the soil for success. We had to identify essential tasks before moving forward. So let's go back to picture. When I was thinking of the caring model of picture, it's to care for others, and it is to share hope with them. And that's what I'm hoping tonight that I'm sharing, is a little bit of hope, a little bit of spark, a little bit of someone saying, you can do it, a little bit about being on the sideline, like, go team, go, like this. You know, when someone's running a race, are you going, oh, I really hope that they, oh, I'm a mom of 4 boys. When boys played, when they played hockey, I would just watch with a coffee and I'd be fine. I would be peaceful. I don't know what it is about hockey. I mean, they were goalies, but I was like, good job, you know. Basketball, I don't know what came over me. I played travel basketball, so I think that that's what came over me. I'd be like up and like, oh, you know. I didn't realize the principal was sitting beside me of the school that they were going to, and he looked at me like, I don't think I've ever seen you come undone like that. So picture hope. It is the ability to envision, to dream, to hope, and see the possibilities for a preferred future. Like, I know we've made choices. I know we have. But you know, on top of all those choices that we made, you've made some good choices. Just pat yourself on the back and say, you know what, today I'm going to say I've made some good choices in life, right? There might be other times where you say, maybe I could have just done, yes, you could have. But you know what? We're not where we were yesterday. We're certainly not where we always want to be yet, but we are here today. And we're hearing some things about picturing and planning and plowing. And if you don't like gardening, that's okay. You don't have to think about the garden. You can just think about picturing something. But I know for me that the best way I can show passion is to share some things that I'm passionate about. And I'm passionate about caring for people. And I'm passionate about our little farm that we have, Mueller Acres. I'm passionate about plowing that ground to put some seeds in the ground to make some beautiful flowers for you to come and visit and to see them and to have a minute to rest and recharge. You can only share from a point of passion, can't you? And then you can ignite that passion in others. So when I think of picture, I think of possibilities for all of us. Now let's go to plan. When I think about plan, I think to care means to create a plan for progress. And I talked to you about that, about applying, even though, you know, I had to take this online course and so on. And yes, I got my mark up into the 90s. I don't know how, probably just skimmed through, but then I had to make a plan. And I know this is a picture of a calendar, but to me, it's a calculator. It feels like a calculator, but it's kind of a calendar and a calculator to me, because I had to plan on how am I going to pay for this course. When you want to do something, what do? You sit down and figure out, how much does it cost? How am I going to do this? And maybe we might lose a few people through that first 2 steps, because man, I don't know if I have the time to do that. I don't know if I really want to do that. I don't know if I can afford that. There's so many things can stop you from doing something that you think, I can't do that. I'm too old. I'm too this. I can't do this. I can't. There's so many things that people can do that help not only themselves, their family, monetary, they can help their situation. Or you know what, in community, people need people that care for others. So here we are at plan. To care means to create a plan for what? For progress. It involves developing goals, identifying steps, charting a course of action, and mapping out the stages that are needed to achieve that change. Okay, so maybe that's a lot, but if we look at just identifying the steps that you need, like we do, we sit down. I don't know if you're a list person. Some people like to write lists down. Some people write things on the list that they've already completed, but they still want to write it down because they want to feel like they've like done something. I get all that too. I've had to make so many lists and I've thought, where's that list I made? I know, I don't know what that's about, but anyways. All right, so let's get into plowing. I love this picture. I don't know, I just do. It's a tractor, come on, it's just a tractor. And I've just really enjoyed this in the country because we need it. We need it for everything. So caring involves preparing others for change. Now, if you think about your family, your children, your grandchildren, or your nieces or nephews, or people that are around you in your life, okay? So it involves preparing others for change as well. When I think of plowing, I think laying the groundwork, preparing the soil for success by addressing essential tasks. So what are those tasks before what? Moving forward. So caring involves preparing others for change. It is the ability to plow the soil for growth and prepare, organize, cultivate, connect, network, and then initiate change. You know, some of the people that I've networked with in this network group that I'm involved in, I might not have any need of what their service are, but I know someone that does. And I've given their information over to someone because I value community, because I know that others, I didn't do it for that reason, but others have referred people to me that, I mean, oh, I met them in the grocery store and they gave their card to maybe their mother, or for Father's Day, someone to come out here just because they want some time around the campfire or whatever, have a night, something like that, you know, out at the cabins. So it's not always that when we've connected with someone that it's that person. It might be the 5 people that are around them as well. You know, and one thing I've had to do is I've had to plow up some very hard ground in my life. Now I'll tell you why. Because we all have luggage in our lives. I should have brought that as a thing, a luggage. It's when we open it up and everything in there and we start throwing it to people, and that becomes baggage, because that's like, you need to pay for what I've been through in my life. Like, and you bring them into that. And I've had to learn to work on me, work on things that in my life, and own my own things, just like my adult children need to own their things as well. And when adult children come and ask you, oh, what do you think about this? Or no, let me reframe that. They're not going to ask you what you think. They're going to just tell you what they're doing. And so the best thing to do would be say, let me know how that works out. Because remember, you're their parent, but you're not what? Parenting them anymore when they're over 30. I mean, that's not even in my notes. That was just for free. I just thought I'd just give that out there somewhere. I don't even know why that came up, but that's good. Because here's the thing. When you look at picture, plan, plow, plant, we're getting to plant. What would this look like in your home, your business, your finances, your family, your relationships? What does this look like? And I know there's been a lot of plowing in my life to bring me to where I am today. If someone had said, listen, Stacy, you're going to be a nurse. I'm sorry, you're going to go through a very hard divorce. What? You're going to be separated. You're not going to have any money coming in. You're going to have 4 boys. You're going to wonder how you do your 3 jobs and raise those 4 boys alone. And then you're going to become a nurse. And then you're going to teach at college math, which you thought you never could do. And then you're going to teach the PSW program. And then you're going to have a farm. No, like, just see how I could not have pictured that. But in my life, I started by just picturing when we were going through our divorce, the judge said to me, well, you know, like, what are you going to do? And I said, I'm going to go and become a nurse. It just came out of my mouth. And the judge looked at me and she said, wow, I believe you're going to be such a good nurse and you're going to support your children and you're going to do so good in your life. It was just like, I mean, the judge wasn't my mother, okay, but she was so nice. She was kind and she cared for me. Don't you love it when someone speaks well and good over you? You feel connected to them, don't you? You don't even know them and you think, oh, I really like that person. So it's like, this is a good time to have some tea, right? So I don't cry, because then I think of grandma. Yeah. I think of my grandmother. Oh, the beautiful women in our lives, right? We just never take them for granted. All right, so let's go down to plant. We're at plant now. So caring means helping to initiate change in some form. I'm just trying to see where we're at for time-wise. Where am I at? So I've got like 10 more minutes or so, like that. All right. Caring means helping to initiate change in some form. Planting is the ability to start, establish initiatives, implement strategies, and take action to foster growth. Well, if I'm planting these beautiful mammoth sunflowers, and you know what? They grow 10, 11 feet tall, small seed. Honestly, nothing I do other than plant them, make sure it's fertilized, and water when I can. But the sun takes care of so much. These mammoth sunflowers, their faces are like this big, and they're so huge. But if I plant those and I expect to find that a cabbage, I'm like, wait a minute. I planted a sunflower, but I got a cabbage. I'm only going to get what I'm planting. That seed that I plant is what I'm getting. I might get a bit of a version of that, but I have to make sure I know that the planting has the right ingredients is kind of what I'm trying to say. When I think of plant, take the initiative to start the process and goals required for your growth. When I took time to plant, I took the process and the goals and I made a plan. And I applied for college. See, I use nursing as an example tonight because it's a career that I chose. And there was things I had to do to get there. But I also really wanted to learn how to do like watercolors. I still don't, but I like took a picture of my tree and then I drew it. And I mean, it's not that great. If anybody wants to publish it online, you know, like, hey, what? They'll say, I think it was her grandchildren that went like this over time. Listen, I'm learning. So that was something I learned. I also learned how to do some floral things for the little weddings that we're sometimes doing here. I learned to cut wood. I did. And so I cut these little wood pieces, which people use. And I learned how to dehydrate all those things that I grew through a book. So here's the thing. We don't know everything, do we? But we're learning. We're establishing, we're learning. So here we are. The next one I want to go to is to protect. Protect involves caring, involves creating an environment where people are safe to grow. It involves proactively assisting individuals in recognizing what is essential for their growth. Protecting entails guiding change by ensuring peace, stability, calm, and safely while identifying barriers and hazards, because there's always barriers and hazards. That's why I say this little picture I thought was cute. At first I didn't know if I wanted to use it, but it reminds me of someone kind of just doing like a little bit of a karate chop or something. They're protecting. It's a protecting. When I think of protecting, I think of the being vigilant almost and preserving aspects of your life that are vulnerable or valuable to you. So when you think of things that are valuable to you, you want to protect them. And when I think of looking after plants, I need to protect them. So from the elements, from rain, from whatever happens, from like frost and so on. So this is a hyacinth, I think. But with this plant here, this is a bulb. This is actually a complete plant. And so when I look here, the roots are already starting. I have it just in water and I will put it into the ground. And what will happen? It will be a beautiful pink or purple plant, hyacinth plant. And so we know that in a bulb, in the winter, like before the winter happens, you dig them out and you shake them off and you put them in a bag or something into the garage. And like they're dormant. You're not watering them, you're not doing anything, but because of all the process that you have done in that meantime to get them prepared for the fall, they're ready in the spring or summer to come out and to be planted and grow beautiful. So there's some plants that can just weather the winter through the storms, everything. Some you need to cover, some you need to dig out and put into the garage. Like geraniums, if you didn't know. Geraniums can be pulled out, shaken off, and put into the garage, and you can still have them, which is so great because, you know, you think of all the ways in which plants can teach us so much and provide so much for us, herbs and so on. And I brought this aloe plant too, because I wanted to show you that this aloe plant has definitely been pruned and propagated, but it was brown and it was not living at all. Someone gave it to me and said, oh, I don't know if you want this aloe plant. It was all brown. I said, I do. So I dumped out all the dirt and I realized the soil had no little rocks or pebbles. And I use these little, I don't know, there's like these little rocks. I use them in it. They don't need a lot. They don't need a lot of watering. And the plant just grows and just grows. And it's for so many purposes. When you think of protecting, you think, I've got to know what element I'm in. I've got to know what I need to do to protect what I'm doing. I needed to know that I would protect my time for studying, for nursing, and I needed to know how to protect my time for my children, to give them time. So yes, they went in my calendar and I wrote time with them in my calendar. Mind you, I wrote in pencil so I could change it if I needed to, but always in the day was time with children, which is always so encouraging. And then let's move on to prune. So pruning involves caring and helping others, evaluating areas of your work. And then I wrote pruning refers to the capacity to manage change by what? Shaping and trimming and evaluating, refining. These are all words that I was just going on, and as you could tell, redirecting. I love this sentence of mid-course correction. Not midlife corrections, it's mid-course corrections. Sometimes you stop and go, wait, that didn't feel right. I don't think I'm going to go that direction. I think I'll go this direction. Sometimes we can make that on our own, or we could ask the ones around us that love us and ask them, what do you think? I might not take what they say, but just people that know you best as well. So protecting, and then we're going to move on here to, and we'll go back to pruning and pollinating. Well, we're at pollinating. Pollinating is to care. Again, we'll talk first about the leadership part about it. So to care is to resource people by connecting and networking them. It is likened to pollination, the ability to network, socialize, to connect, team, coach, and build relationships through actualizing change is essential. We've planted some pollinator plants so that we will have what? Butterflies, bees. And so we're looking for that. Not that I really want bees nearby, but I've put enough in a certain area that I'm going to see some beautiful plants and beautiful butterflies. We saw some this year, and of course the bees as well. So we've learned how to really appreciate nature in this way too. How do you pollinate with people? Well, you seek connections with those, I think I wrote that down, those who can support your journey. Do you think people said, go ahead, yeah, you should be a nurse, Stacy, like you're 45 and you're a single mom of 4 boys, like, and you work 2 jobs, like, yeah, you should, that really makes sense. Maybe what you're going to do doesn't make sense to people. I know it's going to make sense to the women in this group because they just encourage you. I could probably say I'm going to be a pilot, and you'd probably say, go Stacy. Like really, I feel like so encouraged when I'm around you at the BPW for sure. But let me tell you, there's going to be people that are going to say, oh, I don't know, right? And that's okay, right? We need to think about, okay, what are they saying? But it's to be able to know that being around people that can support your journey. I think it's very important. Look for mentors, embrace constructive feedback, and engage with individuals who inspire your growth. Right? So I look at, there's people in business that have really inspired me. Why? It's because they put people first. They care about people. You can see it. And of course, my grandmother, my mother, I watched them care for others. My grandmother was helping with the veterans all the time, like knitting those socks, for people, working at the legions, helping. My mother caring for adults that had special needs, teaching them art. So I always watched the caring part of life. And I knew that that was always important to people. And number 8, propagate. To care is to see our involvement bear fruit in others' lives and move them to bear fruit in others. So you see, it's not something that you just keep for yourself. When you pollinate, like, it goes over to someone else, to another flower. And you want to bear fruit in your life so that others can be inspired by your journey as well. At the time when you're going through something hard, it's not so easy to be able to share with someone and hope that they will like be encouraged to embark on a journey like you. It's just that it happens naturally. Caring for others, you want to inspire others. It is to have the ability to multiply ourselves with others by actualizing change through the fruit of our actions. So it is something we have to do. We definitely have to understand, or I'm encouraging you to care. To care for others is to care intentionally, like with an influence that you have for someone else. So the influencing of one another for their good, increasing their potential, productivity, effectiveness, their well-being, and so on. And now we come to Mueller Acres. So why did I put a picture of a chicken up there? I don't. But when I got this box of little chickens, they were little chicks, like 15 of them. I thought they would stay small forever. Like, what? They grow? What? And there's a time when those chickens don't look good. They're not very pretty, and they make funny sounds. And I was like, something's wrong. So I called the farm and I said to them, something's wrong. My chickens are making funny sounds. And they go, this is all natural. Well, how would you know? So I had to make a plan after everything to learn to raise chickens. So here's the thing. When I go back to caring intentionally, when I became in my final year of nursing, I decided to go back to number 7 to pollinate. How did I do that? Well, I took a course in Toronto at Toronto School of Health, I think it was, and it was health. And I took a course on learning how to take exams. And therefore, it was so valuable those 8 weeks that I drove in and out a couple of hours to go to that course. I'm able to help others take tests or get prepared for something, or in my life coaching, I'm able to help people grow forward. And I believe it was a direct result in some of the courses that I've taken, but also that I tried these myself, and I was able to be successful in my test taking and in my course and in my classes and becoming a certified life coach, a master coach, a business coach. I took it all. And I took it all because I knew that I needed to have that so that I could pollinate and help others grow in their business from where they are to where they want to be. So why I showed this picture now is because I knew nothing. After I became a nurse, worked in palliative care, supervised, became a teacher at college, I knew that from the years of working in palliative care, I wanted a place for people to come and rest. I saw people that were going to visit people that were going through illness or cancer, and I saw them going to different parking lots, picking up, just having coffee, and just there was nowhere for them to really go. And I thought one day I'm going to have a farm, and I'm going to encourage people to come and visit. They can see chickens, they can sit around the pond and just enjoy some time. And that's exactly what we did. And so in my years after I shared that I was divorced, I did remarry, and I've been married for several years now. And together we have our hospitality really connects. And so in this caring model, I have that it brings hope. Caring by investing in others, meeting their needs, caring and being a resource in community. And so we've developed Mueller Acres. It looks a little different now just because we have a little pallet porch where people can sit and observe the fire. We have a beautiful pond there. There's lots of Adirondack chairs and Skoka chairs, a little observation deck as well. And so we've been doing little retreats. People can come and just enjoy their time at Mueller Acres. And so the benevolent visits as well, that's in the process. And I'm meeting with people about that process to see about people coming out. And maybe they would put like a little lily pad on our pond and just remembering someone that they've lost or someone that means something to them, or just to have some time to rest and recharge. So to care for others is to bring hope to them in their time of need. And so I wanted to make that available if you wanted to reach out to thiswaystacy@gmail.com. I'd be happy to talk to you as well. So caring by investing in others. And then again, there's that old tractor. There we have it. And then caring, who doesn't share like their pets on here? I don't know, but I just loved this picture of our dog Teddy. And you can see at the top where Teddy is realizing that, oh, I have a sister and she's a chicken. So that's what happened there. And of course, caring by meeting their needs. And there's the little pond that we developed and so on. So when we look at the overall, in conclusion, really, we look at when we've propagated something, and what we've learned is that your hard work pays off. Do you know there's one small leaf that you can cut off of a hydrangea? And a hydrangea plant, you just put it in the dirt. You can put in a little bit of water if you want to, but just a little bit of the dirt, and you will have an entire hydrangea bush. Here's the thing. There's so many little things that I've learned in gardening, in taking care of things, in taking care of people. There's little tricks and little things you've learned. I understand that. But the basis of all it is that when you genuinely care for others, do you know that good does come back in your life? It does come back to you. It comes back to you, to your children. And I think that it's really important to be okay with achievements that you've made in your life, to be okay with where you're at. Hey, if I never went to school and I didn't do that, would be okay too, because I had chosen that. And but I needed to have education, right? I needed to have education to care for other people. And so the same for you. If you have something in your life that you would like to do and that you're thinking of doing, I just want to encourage you to step out and to, plan and to really just take that time to look at that process that I gave you with those 8 Ps, and to just you have to sit down and make that plan. That's how we start, right? You picture it and you plan it. And these are the 8 Ps that I found were very key in both business and in my personal life and the things that I wanted to do. And so back when it was just a little vision of, now it's a thriving little chicken coop with rescue rabbits and so on. So there's lots of things that that can flourish in your life when you take time to plan. It's almost like a business plan, I would say. But I think if you take time to, just journal, just take your journal, or even if you do it just on your notes on your phone, and just writing down some things that you value, things that you'd like to see happen. And so I want to encourage you above all else that you're not alone. And for me, a young girl at 15, turning 16, leaving home, and now I'm in my 60s, I want you to know that the years, although they've been hard and they've been difficult, they've been good years too. They've taught me a lot. And so I hope that through this time that you've learned even just a little bit, or you've gleaned a little bit from that. And also, I'll say it again, that you're not alone. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I was frantically taking notes because that was so interesting.
Aw.
And I mean, there's so many areas that you can apply that to. That
Mm,
one of them, I know Norma and I are. Norma is our first vice president of BPW Canada, and
mm.
she and I are working together on our plans for the future for BPW, and this feeds into that just perfectly.
Right. Well, my book comes out in April, Growing Forward, so you'll have all the all that and all the questions in there as well.
Excellent.
Yeah. It's just a process, really. It's almost like I was saying to my husband, when people take leadership processes, they take them, and if they apply them and you just take one thing at a time, you really can see, like, you need people that are visionary people, but you also need people that, can prune people too, and say, you also need people that, can pollinate other people. You also need people that can protect and say, well, no, we need to make sure that this is towards the vision. Because without a vision, right? When you were reading those, and the core values that you have, if BPW didn't have that core value, like I wouldn't know what to base my, when I would say, oh, but I align with that. Like I really love that. And so that I think there's more women people that would identify with that and really love that as well. So thank you for that. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Does
Okay.
anyone else have any questions?
Oh, gotta go. No, I'm only kidding. Time for tea.
Very inspiring, Stacy. And when you take it like that, one point at a time, it makes perfect sense.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Why do we allow ourselves to get caught up in the whole big mixture
Mm.
of things to do and goals
Mhm.
when we can and suffer for it?
Yeah.
We can sit back and take one step at a time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's focus. I think it's focus
Mhm.
too, because I know that when I mean, there weren't a lot of things that were when I was going to school. I could sit there and just dream. And I didn't know that I maybe had a focus problem, right? Like we weren't ever tested for things that, we didn't have things that could help us learning. I knew that I learned when I was holding something, when I was seeing it. I knew that when I learned that when I started going to college for nursing, because I was like, okay, show me, show me, show me. And they showed me and I got it. They go, wow, like, how did you get it? I said, because you showed me. I know my learning style now. I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that I could do maybe I could do, but I couldn't do them all well. You can do a lot of things, but what can you do really well? Like I've determined with my one little grandson, he's only one now, but anyways, I've determined with him that I'm going to do instruments with him. Like I love singing, so I'm always singing with him, and I got him a little drum set. Like I'm going to invest in him because I see that when like we're sitting there, he goes like this. I think, how does he know how to move like that? He's one. Like so, like, but I'm saying I see some gifts in him already. I'm going to focus on that. And if in you you have that gift of, say you have that gift of baking, say you have that gift of just writing a note to someone, or a phone call. If you have that, that is a gift. That's a caring gift for someone. And that would be so nice to hear from them. I know for me, when I get a little note or something from someone, oh, thinking about you, just, whatever, I'm like, oh, the world's a good place. I'm okay. I just sometimes like that. And again, if you feel like you don't have that, there are beautiful women here that would reach out with you. I mean, maybe not every day, but I'm saying, but it is something that we do need as people. We all need that. We need to know that yeah, that we could do something. And but I think it is honing it in and writing down the top 3 things that you could do. Now, I joked about being a pilot. I know I won't be. I won't even jump out of a plane, but I'm just saying, like, I mean, like skydiving. Let me say I'm not jumping out of a plane, but yeah. But there's just some things I don't want to do, and that's okay. But there's some things I want to do, and I don't know if I can do them. I'm going to what? I'm going to first picture that I can. I'm going to plan. I'm going to plow that ground. I'm going to find out what do I need to do that. So I didn't mention that I wasn't, how was I going to pay for nursing? So I applied for all kinds of scholarships that they had. I didn't tell them I'm a single mother. Oh, I don't have the money. No, I told them why I want to be a nurse.
Mhm.
I want to be a nurse because I'm going to be a positive nurse in palliative care. I don't even know if that's a title, but that was my title. And I applied for the Women's Seroptimist in Ontario, and I won. I was like, you won. I won what? I didn't know what I won. But I won some money to pay for some of my schooling and some of these beautiful, beautiful like people that make these scholarships and bursaries for people. I could cry. I'm saying that like it's just an incredible, incredible thing. And all I had to do was write my truth. And my truth was that I'm going to be this. I'm going to care for others. I'm going to come alongside of them. And I'm going to be the best nurse that I can be for the time that I'm nursing. So, and then I told them at McMaster University that, oh, by the way, I'm a single mother. I have 4 boys. I think I got a round of applause. So you never know when you're going to go from the kitchen sink doing your dishes to standing in front of people sharing your valuable story. Each one of you have a valuable story. You might say one thing. You might get up and say one thing. Let me just tell you about something and change a person's life. I mean, when you're going through that rock bottom, you don't want to tell any, you don't want to tell people, you don't want to tell people, you don't want to help people. You just got to help yourself. You got to get that, you got to get that tea on, right? But when you're through, maybe not to the other side, when you're through and you are able to help other people, it's going to be so rewarding to you. You're going to say, you know what? That was a moment I can't ever imagine that happening. And yet I inspired someone today. And now because of that, they're going on to do some great things for other people or for themselves. And that really does bring me joy. So
very much. And people like to hear the struggle that you overcame and how you did that. They don't want to
There
hear.
was a few more, Anne, but I didn't want to say those. Let's get this positive. I didn't mention. I ran out of gas one time on the highway. I had my white uniform on for school, and I ran out of gas, and I was going there for an exam. And this exam was really important. Ran out of gas on the highway getting there because one of my, maybe not, no, not one of my teenage sons didn't fill up the gas tank. Don't worry, it was one of them, but who knows who it was. But anyways, that doesn't matter because I remember walking down the highway. And I know you're not allowed to walk on the highway. Where am I going to walk? With my can and my white uniform, and people were not kind. They would just go by and like any mud or something like that. I was a muddy, wet mess. I walked and I knocked because I was 5 minutes late. They don't usually let you in. And my makeup, and I was a mess. And I said to her, I recognize I'm a mess. I'm a wet mess right now. I have studied, I'm ready. I can't give you excuse. This is where it's at. She goes, I'll let you in. So she let me in and I went, all this water all over me, all around my desk. I looked like that. I don't know. You know what I'm talking about, like that Lionel from whatever. Yeah, I did. Without a blankie. I needed a blankie. And I took the exam and I got a really good mark in it because I knew my stuff. I just didn't know that that was going to happen. So you see, there's things that happen along the way. I could have quit. I could have cried on the, oh boy, how many times I could have just said, I'm not doing this. And I have while I'm doing it. I've cried, I've wiped my tears, and I still did it.
Good for you.
That's why I can say it with a genuine heart that no matter what you're going through, no matter what you're facing, whether it's past, whether it's trauma, whether it's divorce, whether it's separation, whether it's your kids, maybe you're estranged from your children, maybe you don't see them like you want to, maybe they don't value what you are valuable. You're the only parent they have. Come on, you're the only parent they have. So listen, this is what life is about, right? We have challenges, but we're going to keep going. We're going to make our legacy good. And that's what BPW does as well. The legacy that you have.
you. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
Well, Stacy, I want to thank you for agreeing when I contacted you about doing
Thank
this.
you.
We met at a trade show, right?
We did, and I met Jocelyn at church. I thought, are they really this? Like, what? They must have a script. They had no script. That was who they were. I was
Yeah.
just like, I didn't want to leave. I don't even think I saw any other vendor there. I think well, I mean, I went down. I said hello, but I was very taken by. I remember when I left because I said to my son who was there, I said, my jaw hurts. And he goes, have you been talking a lot? I said, no. I said, oh, I've been laughing at that booth, but that would have been it.
Well, I'll tell you, you are more than welcome to join us.
Oh, thank
W Niagara
you.
Falls, and we cover the Niagara region,
Yeah.
including Cambridge.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I saw that. I saw the different places. I think it's amazing.
And,
Amazing.
and we do in the wintertime, we meet on Zoom,
Okay.
so we don't have to travel. I mean, old
No.
people like me, I don't like going up the escarpment in icy weather, so I kind of suggested it, and everybody said, yeah, so we do that, and we have social times, and we are known, our club, EPW Niagara
Mhm.
Falls, is known for being extremely active. Right now, I'm working on a pink tea, a round table for international women, and a designer bag bingo for fundraising. And our members have been very supportive.
So great.
But I get
Mm.
these crazy ideas, and then I say, why don't we?
Why don't we do that?
And they kind of think, oh, there she goes again. But we do it, and we have fun. We have fun.
It
Well,
is.
actually,
Stacy,
from the crazy ideas, it should be the amazing ideas, right? Like there's just
yeah.
a
Yeah.
few letters to change in there, but that's just.
I think you would be a welcome addition to their club. And we have
Absolutely.
BPW Ontario, we have BPW Canada, and international. There's a lot
It's so
for us to
amazing.
Together.
offer you as well.
Oh,
But I
thank you, Anne.
would love to see you at a convention. That would be fun.
Oh, that would
Yes.
be so fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know
Yes,
what? We even have a who needs an excuse for lunch.
there you go.
I had a lunch one time. No, it was actually like an early dinner for women. It was for single women. I said to my husband, I want to do this for just single people in our community. And it was all dressed up and somewhere to go. They're gonna go to my house. So I made the people said, I have to keep saying that over and over again. I said, well, there was an old saying that was like all dressed up and somewhere to go.
Mhm.
And yeah, so you get to come to my place
Nice.
here.
Cool.
Yeah, we just played music and some games and fireside, so it was fun. Yeah.
Excellent. Does anyone else have any questions or comments? If not, I will let you go. It is almost 8 o'clock on the nose. We're that good that we end our meetings on time.
And I'm not sure if you know, Stacy, but BPW Ontario will be putting this on YouTube as well.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
Hopefully all my ums won't come out.
Uh,
Well,
you did great.
there's a lot of people that have different things going on. Some of us even fall asleep after dinner. But even though we intended to be somewhere, but it will be seen, the video will be
Oh,
seen
yeah.
by
Right.
many.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's good. I hope it's encouraging to others, and I hope that they glean a little something from that. And just, you know,
Absolutely.
sometimes it's
Definitely.
just a little step in time to see someone else's story and what they've, you can imagine to fill in the blanks of having the four sons and having to color code my children because I needed to be that organized. So my son was blue and purple and green and I don't know another color and that was it. You got two towels, two face cloths, you got your little hamper, all blue or all green. So we knew who was what and who left their towels on the floor. But then the problem was, which they said, Blue left his towel. I thought, he has a name. I think I created monsters.
Lovely.
But,
I only had two boys and I had enough
yeah.
with energy, and they still harass me.
Yeah. I remember when my son said to me, Mom, we're all individual. I said, I know. And that's what just scares me. What? What do you mean it scares you? Because if I can't say just the boys, because you're all, you know,
Yeah.
but I realize they're separate people with separate needs, separate time, their love language is different. And so with that, I learned how to love my family again. And then with Derek coming into my life, it took maybe 5 months for my boys to meet him because I knew that they would love anybody. I just needed to know if I could love again. And so Derek and I began our journey just like that. But he kept bringing food to my door, asking me out, and I would slip the food through the door to the boys. Like he'd make meat and all kinds of, and they would go, "Who is that, mommy?" I said, "It's mommy's date." "Oh, mommy has a date." I said, "That's right. Mommy has one date. I'll be back at 9:40 or something like that," and then had the babysitter. And so like 9:40. And like I would just say I have a curfew, and he honored everything like that. And so his name is Dr. Derek Mueller, and he has his videos on YouTube already that talk about leadership and about mentoring men and his journey as well. So we've both had a similar journey. And we share our story in our book called Life Happens. And it's really for people that are separated or going through divorce or have maybe been through different things in their life. And so there's a little, like I put like a little reflection in there too, so that they could write some notes in there as well. But so it's been a journey of bliss being remarried. Yeah, I never saw that for my life. But again, I'm grateful that Derek's in my life. He brings so much joy, and we laugh a lot. And I think that's been a great medicine for pain. And so my sons call him dad, and they love him. Again, we did have a tragedy about a year and a half ago. One of our sons passed away, and that was a very difficult time in our life. And we just got even closer, I believe, just because we knew that we had given what we could. We were the best parents that we could be, and we know that now his time on earth is not here anymore. So now we have all these other children that we need to take and be there for. So it's learning how to struggle well. I've learned that in my care for people in cancer care as a nurse and in palliative care, that people struggle, and it's learning how to struggle well with pain and not being able to let go of that pain, but go through that time. Because if you go through that time, you'll be able to be there for someone else and listen to them with a heart that really means something, matters. So I think it's a gift to be able to care for others. And I appreciate sharing that tonight. Thank you so much. It's such an
Thank
honor.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I will see everyone next month.
Yes, thank you. It's been
Bye-bye. Nice
wonderful.
to meet
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Bye,
Thank you so
Stacy,
much.
and thank you very
Thank
much.
you for listening and having a cup of coffee with me.
Yeah.
You
Bye-bye.
know what?
you.
Go to sleep. Woo!